Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Vlada. I would like to continue today with our part 2 of Michael Jackson's numerology analysis. As you remember, if you have seen part 1, I promised to go over the subconscious in this second part. Um, to remind you, the subconscious analysis comes from the Chinese numerology methodology, and that is when we turn your date of birth into the Chinese calendar date, which is going to be some 4,500 something something year that you were born, as opposed to 19 something or 2000 something in our Gregorian calendar. So this gives you a completely new birth date, and all of these numbers have their own meanings. And what they teach us is what the person had been through in his previous lifetime, in his previous incarnation, what fears people bring from there, what traumas, psychological traumas stick inside, and the soul brings them from one lifetime to the next. It is extremely interesting to look at someone like Michael Jackson from the point of view of his subconscious and what those experiences show. Let's start with the fact that Michael was born on one of those magical dates that is considered to be it's what's called the Matrix Oasis. So many gifts were given to him by the universe just to test him whether he would take the fame and fortune and become self absorbed, or whether he would still be able to create successful relationships in his life, because the focus of such a young soul needs to remain to learn to build relationships and to learn to become a loving and giving human being. That's the number one task that we have. um, Later on we move on to learning, um, as in cognition, as in learning new information, acquiring knowledge, and then sharing it with other people. Later on, we have further tasks such as material, learning to be financially sound and learning to gain and create material things, because on earth, that is one of our biggest tasks as well. And then our older souls have the task of creating, whether it be artistically, whether it be with scientific discoveries, findings, but creating new things. So, Michael, being on this first set of lifestyles in his journey, he needed to learn to love and to be a loving human being. Um, the universe gives you a very easy, it basically hands you fame and fortune and is testing you what you will do with the little free time that you have left. So, Michael had a gift. According to his numbers, his subconscious numbers show that his gift was a secret to his trade that he had taken to his grave more than once before. This was something that set him apart. He was phenomenally talented in his trade, and he had a secret that he kept that was the key to his brilliance. Michael has a number, not surprisingly, that shows his fondness for being the center of attention. And even after all of his amazing, unprecedented success in music, he wanted to hang on to the spotlight. He dreamt of being in the movies, and he agreed even to play the smallest roles and play himself, for just a few minutes, just to appear in a movie. So that is that craving of the spotlight. He also has a sign of being focused on one professional direction and not really venturing into several different um, professional fields. Someone like that is not very good at making quick decisions. Someone like that could be a little bit mm, naive. Someone like that could be a little bit not prone to check information sometimes. So he could fall into a trap of betrayal when it came to professional matters. And now, as promised, I would like to reveal something that was a very deep psychological trauma that Michael had brought with himself from the previous lifetime. So it shows that in his past lifetime, it was very likely that he was a victim of perhaps a sexual assault. Perhaps he was forced to marry someone that he despised. We're talking despised, not just disliked. He was forced to, in some way, um, go into a relationship that went against his nature and his inner understanding and feeling of what a relationship should be like. So something disturbing might have happened to him. And I will leave it up to everyone to decide whether a person with such deep psychological trauma could do something that he was accused of doing more than once. Um, but just based on these numbers, um, we can make a guess that perhaps a person with such deep trauma and such fear of the same happening to him again would be possibly less likely um, to commit that what he was accused of. Now, this is just a suggestion. Um, I'm not steering you in either direction. This is just looking at his numerology. The subconscious is tricky. It makes us behave a certain way in a stressful situation. It has the hidden traits. By analyzing the subconscious, we can find if a person could betray someone, if a person was a criminal in their past life, if the person will be in the middle of chaos. For example, I happen to have in my numbers a sign of a businessman when it comes to a critical situation, when it comes to an unusual setting. I'm finding myself more focused right now in the middle of our current crisis than I've ever been before, more driven, more productive than I've ever been before. I can definitely see my numerology business is taking off and everything's falling into place. When my seminar had fallen through, it now became a webinar, and I will be actually able to get my certification next week, just a week from today, which I lost all the hope for in the middle of the pandemic. So, um, Michael doesn't have a sign of a businessman, but he has other strong signs of an incredible talent, as we mentioned before, that has carried him through and allowed for such enormous success that he experienced. He does not have a sign of a traitor. He does not have a sign of a vicious criminal. Um, he just has these signs of a very sensitive um, and a very naive person. So take it or leave it. That is the subconscious analysis of Michael Jackson. In our next video, we will cover the soul chart. where we will go deep into the true nature of this person, and what values were nearest and dearest to his heart. Till next time, have a wonderful day, night, whatever time of the day you are watching this at.